Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful morning, right? Too bad it's a little windy out, but there's no snow, there's no rain, so we're very happy. Thank you for joining us this morning on such an important day, the National Vietnam War Veterans Day, a day that recognizes the men and women who served our country so bravely during the Vietnam War. My name is Holly Villano. I'm a member of the Schenectady County Legislature, and I also chair the Committee on Military Affairs and Veterans. Schenectady County is the home of about 2,700 Vietnam veterans, and I know that many of them are with us this morning. I just hope that any of our veterans that are from the Vietnam War area, please raise your hand so that you can be recognized. We thank you so much for your service, so important to our country. There's also one person that I would like to recognize. He's a gentleman that came to the county legislature about 6 years ago, and he said to us, you know, wouldn't it be nice to have a nice memorial dedicated solely to the Vietnam veterans of our county? And we thought, what a wonderful idea. It didn't come to complete fruition until the end of 2021 due to many bumps in the road, including the pandemic. Because of this gentleman's efforts and his vision, we are standing here today on this beautiful memorial that is dedicated solely to the Vietnam veterans of Schenectady County. So I would like to acknowledge Mr. Bob Becker. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your vision. Thank you for your efforts. And thank you for your service. Now I'd like to recognize a few of my colleagues from the legislature, Eric Hess, Josh Como. From the City Council, I see Carmel Patrick and SUNY President Steady Mono.
Right next to you.
I didn't see you. Thank you, doctor. Thank you. And thank you for being with us this morning. Before I hand over the microphone to Assemblyman Santabarbara, who I shouldn't introduce, but he's here, and we know he's here for a long time. I would like to share something that I recently came across, if I don't lose it, that was written by a veteran. It's titled, "To Understand a Military Veteran, You Must Know. They left home as teenagers or in early 20s for an unknown adventure. They loved our country enough to defend it and to protect it with their own lives. They said goodbye to their friends and family and everything they knew. They learned the basics and were scattered to the far corners of the world. They found new friends and new family. They became brothers and sisters, regardless of race, color, or creed. They didn't get enough sleep. They didn't earn enough wage. They experienced the happiness of mail call and the sadness of missing important events with their loved ones. They didn't know when or even if they were ever going to see home again. They grew up fast, and yet somehow they never grew up at all. Some of them saw actual combat, and some didn't. Some dealt with physical warfare. Most dealt with psychological warfare. They have dealt with victory. They have dealt with tragedy. They have celebrated and they have mourned. When the adventure was over, some went back home. Some started somewhere new, and some never came home at all. They share an unspoken bond with each other that most people don't experience and few will ever understand. Being a veteran is something that had to be earned and can never be taken away. It has no monetary value, but at the same time, it is a priceless gift. People see a veteran and they thank them for their service. When they see each other, they give a little nod, knowing that they have shared and experienced things that most people have not. Try to remember the good times and make peace with the bad times. Share your stories. But most importantly, stand tall, stand proud, for you have earned the right to be called veteran. May God continue to bless our veterans, our active military, and may God bless America. Whoops. Thank you so much. And without further ado, I'd like to have Angelo Santabarbara join us and start the program. Thanks,
Okay.
Angelo.
Is that going to be okay?
Are we okay?
Thanks, Holly. Thank you. Okay. Thanks, Holly. How about another round of applause for Holly, the chair of the Veterans Committee in the Schenectady County. Good morning and a warm welcome to each of you who joined us as we gather today at the Schenectady County Vietnam Veterans Memorial, dedicated in 2021, and this is our third annual event that we've had here, and we really appreciate the county's efforts. Certainly, Bob Becker's work on getting and all of our veterans on getting this project done. So, a round of applause for Schenectady County for getting this done. They really deserve a lot of credit. It brings our community together on important days like this. This memorial stands as a testament to the bravery, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment of our Vietnam veterans. It stands as a reminder of one of the most challenging periods in our nation's history. And it is an enduring tribute to the heroes who answered the call of duty. A fitting tribute to the resilience and sacrifice of our Vietnam veterans, as Holly mentioned, more than 2,700 Vietnam veterans who call Schenectady County home. So with that, I'd like to invite George Sakala, a Vietnam-era veteran, for this morning's invocation.
Thank you, Angelo. And you did say my last name correct. Very good. If we could stand up and uncover, please. Certainly, let us honor the brave Vietnam veterans with our heartfelt prayer, a prayer for Vietnam veterans. Dear Lord, we gather today to remember those who served in the Vietnam War, those who returned home, and those who did not. We honor their sacrifice, courage, and resilience. Bless the families and friends of those we commemorate today. May they find solace and strength in their memories, stories, and tears. Let's not forget those whose names are inscribed on the wall and those who have been called to rest since the war's end. Grant eternal peace to those who served, and may their legacy inspire us to seek healing, compassion, and understanding. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, George. At this time, please stand as the Marine Corps League raises the flag. Just introduce you guys. Our national anthem will be performed by Megan Breslin and Praskaya Singh.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars, through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Very nice, ladies. Bill Kosek will now lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Bill. Thank you. Today we unite to commemorate the 51st anniversary of the end, you may be seated. Sorry, yes. The end of the Vietnam War. On this day, 1973, the United States Military Assistance Command Vietnam was dissolved and the last U.S. combat troops left the country. March 29th stands as Vietnam War Veterans Day, a day of gratitude for our Vietnam veterans and their families for their service to our nation. In the tapestry of annual commemorations, this day is among other holidays like Memorial Day, Independence Day, and Veterans Day. This day honors all veterans who served in the U.S. Armed Forces between November 1st, 1955 and May 15th, 1975, regardless of their role or location during the Vietnam War. So today we gather to honor and pay tribute to all of the brave men and women who served our nation during one of the most challenging chapters in our history, the Vietnam War. And it's a privilege to stand before you. As I mentioned, this is our third annual event that we're going to continue every year as we express our deep gratitude and admiration for their sacrifices and courage. I want to I want to thank Schenectady County. I also want to thank SUNY Schenectady. As you heard, we had Dr. Bono is here from the college, and I want to give him an opportunity to also address you and say a few words. Dr. Bono, if you would come up.
Thank you so much. And this is always somber, and we are honored. I speak on behalf of our employees, on behalf of our students, to have this reminder, a reminder of blood, sweat, sacrifice that you all went through, and those who are resting in eternal peace. As the president of the college, often I worry whether our students really understand the sacrifices that you made and that we stand on your shoulders. So again, I want to say thank you. And that sounds so hollow. It sounds so hollow, but we say it from the bottom of our hearts. We are here because you gave more than much. You gave your lives. So I thank you for that, and will always be eternal and eternally grateful to you. And I also want to thank our Assemblyman, who he's a good man. I always say about him, he's the salt of the earth. He is the salt of the earth. And so thank you for making this happen along with our county legislature. So thank you for this opportunity. We are honored. That's what I can say. We are honored. I get emotional because I know what you gave. I can understand what you gave. My wife has uncles and aunts who never came back. So thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Dr. Mono. As Dr. Mono just said, they left the comforts of home, placing themselves in harm's way to defend the principles of freedom and democracy that define our nation. For many of our Vietnam veterans, their service did not end when they returned home. They continued to demonstrate resilience and strength as they reintegrated into civilian life, often facing challenges that were unimaginable to those who did not share those experiences. It's essential that we recognize not only the sacrifices made on the battlefield, but also sacrifices made on the home front. The families and loved ones of our veterans also bore a heavy burden, providing support and strength in the face of uncertainty and fear. Today, we honor their courage and resilience as well. As we reflect on the legacy of the Vietnam War, let us also remember the valuable lessons that it taught us. Let us strive to ensure our veterans receive the care and support they deserve, including access to quality health care, employment opportunities, assistance in navigating the challenges of PTSD. Let's also reaffirm our commitment to never forget the sacrifices made by our Vietnam veterans. Their courage and dedication serve as an inspiration to all of us, reminding us the true cost of freedom and the importance of standing united as a nation. So to our Vietnam veterans, we say thank you and welcome home. Thank you for your service, your sacrifice, your unwavering commitment to defending the principles that make our country great. And with that, I have the privilege of introducing our keynote speaker, who is a very good friend of mine, a very good friend of many people here today, Gene Leparco. He's our keynote speaker. He's also a Vietnam veteran. His journey, marked by valor and selflessness, epitomizes the indomitable spirit of our armed forces. And normally he's taking pictures and attending all of these events. And today, I want to thank his wife Linda for taking over for him so he could be our guest speaker. His story serves as a beacon of inspiration, reminding us of the sacrifices made by him and his fellow veterans. So let's extend a warm welcome to Gene Leparco and express our gratitude for his service to our country.
We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. It's a beautiful day today. It's a great opportunity to meet our friends and fellow veterans. I want to thank you for the invitation to speak to my fellow Vietnam veterans and to the community. It's an honor. I'm privileged to be their fellow veteran in the organizations, especially Schenectady's EJ, NAPTIC, AMVETS, Post 35, and we have many in attendance. Thank you. Many of you that are in attendance have served our country proudly. To me, those who served during the Vietnam War are Vietnam veterans, not just Vietnam-era veterans. We had orders to go, and some did not. We are all Vietnam veterans. Today, I'm present to speak on my experiences in Vietnam and the time after I was discharged. Well, first, when I was married, after 1 month, I got my orders for Vietnam when I was stationed in Holloman, New Mexico. Yes, tears were flowing down my bride's face because we just got married, and at that time, if you bought a car or got married, you got your orders for Vietnam. But it's 57 years ago that have passed, and I'm thanking God every day for my safe return. Many of you, including my good friend from Tuyua, Albany Business College, and AMVETS fellow member, Bill Paul, also returned home. I joined the Air Force on January 10, '66, after basic in Texas, went to Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi, Mississippi for Morse code training. I was second in the class, but that wasn't for me. I changed to administrative assistant and went to New Mexico which is a stepping stone to Vietnam, and then Vietnam on December 11th, 67, just in time for Christmas. I was assigned to the 31st Fighter Wing Transportation Squadron as an admin clerk located in Tuyua, as I said, which was on the coast of South China Sea, about 65 miles north of Cam Ranh Bay. Yes, we had buildings like the church, the PX, Chow Hall, softball fields, basketball courts, etc. Our base was next to the Army's camp with MASH units, and in between our perimeters we had a free walk zone where the Vietnamese can walk safely to their sampans on the coast. This was my first time away from home, actually, 8,000 miles away, like many of us. And Christmas, you got your little packet from the Red Cross, deck of cards, pad and pencil, but still, mail was so important to receive at that time. Just shortly after that, we had the Tet Offensive on February 1st, 68. Along with the 500,000 GIs, I was there. That's when the Viet Cong hit the whole country at all the bases and the camps, from Saigon to Da Nang. At night, the coastline was watched by us airmen with their M16s, just walking up and down the coast, making sure no one lands. And you can see the red and green flares, which were action in nearby areas. The next day, you can see the bombs coming off those planes, and it looked like a John Wayne movie, but there again, your activity was just the norm. The next 6 months was a little bit different. I was selected in the Augmentee Squad, which was training advanced small arms, and I was assigned to the Tiger Flight from 11 at night to 7 in the morning to protect the flight line, liquid oxygen area, the perimeter, the front gate, bunkers, observation towers, and even in the Jeep, riding along the perimeter under the floodlights, but you couldn't do anything until they shot you first. So the training I had as an airman, you can throw that out the window, you're in a combat zone, you do what you have to do. So I had that training, never wrote home about it. And one thing you also, you never met an atheist in a foxhole. When we were going to get hit, everybody was asking God to help us get home. So, and usually they hit about 3 in the morning because the South China Sea, the fog came in about 1:30. So as far as that goes, that's the experience. That there's a lot more. Mail call was so important. Upon returning home, I'm proud to say I have 2 major projects besides belonging to all the organizations I belong to, taking their photos for their history. One of which is in Glenville, and it's the Capital Region Veterans Memorial that soon will be having groundbreaking, and it represents, to honor and respect, over 3,000 KIAs in 11 counties locally within 75 miles. The other project I began in 2013 with founder Tom Regan. It's called Please Remember Me, and on Route 9 near Siena College for 4 miles, 165 flags are flown on the utility poles. They represent 1,900 that never returned home. Each flag represents 10. You know, there's so much you can talk about when you have an audience like you have, but this audience has those veterans that also were in Vietnam. You have those veterans that, even though they weren't in Vietnam, when they were discharged, they have done a lot for their community. That's the difference between just being in service and ending and not continuing. I won't get into saying about the society, how they treat or how they treated us. But what I will say is, being a chaplain for our VFW, I believe every veteran deserves a wake service. Every veteran deserves to be taken care of, and every veteran deserves the honor vet programs that we have in our 4 local counties to be remembered. But one thing I would like to say is that my cousin Robert Rosano from Cohoes was a Navy medic, got killed on August 21st, 1969. And the other one that I remember fondly is my 1963 high school classmate from West Genesee in Syracuse. He was captured on June 12, 1966. His remains have never been returned. And the Syracuse International Airport honors his name in the courtesy room, Greg Harris. I would like to conclude by saying that in Vietnam, mail call was so important. You can get 10 letters in one day, the next day nothing, and you were down. But you had to continue to do your job and to serve our country proudly. No matter what the politics were at the time, you had to do that. But what I would like to say is that in this world, we have leaders and we have followers. We have thinkers and we have stinkers. I'd rather be a thinking leader than a stinking follower. So in conclusion, I'm going to use former Congressman Mike McNulty's quote. He is a Gold Star brother. 2 things every day when I wake up. 1, I thank God for my life. And 2, I thank the veteran for my way of life. God bless America. God bless the veteran. Amen.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
I'll invite Legislator Milano to come back up and give us some closing remarks.
Thank you, Assemblyman. This memorial park stands as a tribute to a group of veterans who have too often been overlooked and underappreciated. Today, we rectify that oversight by honoring your service, your sacrifices, and your unwavering devotion to our nation. May this memorial serve as a symbol of our gratitude and as a beacon of hope for future generations. Thank you for your service, thank you for your sacrifice, and thank you for calling Schenectady County your home. Thank you all for joining us today, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.